Hello, hello. We're doing goal 2 today, and this one is about 5 minutes long. The goal is to end hunger, achieve food security and improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. Let's start with the numbers. According to the most recent report in 2023, up to 738.9 million people faced hunger in 2022, almost 10% of the global population. And over 3.1 billion people, about 42% of the global population, could not afford a healthy diet in 2021. Now, let's have a quick rundown of the targets in brief and key actions to achieve this goal. The dots next to each are colored according to progress, which has a key at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so 2.1, undernourishment and food security, is aimed at ending hunger and making sure everyone has access to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food at all times, of course prioritizing those in the most need to begin with. 2.2 is essentially to end all forms of malnutrition by 2030. 2.3 aims to double the incomes of small-scale food producers and the amount of food they produce, prioritizing women, indigenous people, family farmers, pastoralists, and fishers. Support is to be provided to them through equal access to the required knowledge and resources to thrive. Some examples of those are listed on the screen. 2.4 aims to ensure that food production systems can produce enough food for all using resilient and planet-friendly agricultural practices. The current agricultural sector is actually the biggest cause of biodiversity loss and a major contributor to climate change. 2.5 aims to maintain a sort of genetic repository or library for the species that we use agriculturally and their related wild species, and all this in order to maintain genetic diversity. They also want to ensure the equitable sharing of benefits from the use of genetic resources and the related traditional knowledge according to internationally agreed standards. Now, to have a look at the key actions or tools. The first is investment in agriculture, which essentially calls for increased investment in increasing the amount of food that developing countries can produce by providing the support required to do so. Number 2 is essentially to facilitate increased global trade by correcting and preventing trade restrictions, and doing so by removing all forms of agricultural export subsidies and export measures as one of the major steps. And it looks like that's going well. Yay! And then the third one, 2C, is essentially about helping stabilize and regulate food prices by adopting measures that ensure that food commodity markets function properly. So it's safe to say that everything on this list is very important. But I find it shocking that addressing food waste isn't at the top of this list as an immediate relief to ending hunger, while all the other necessary changes are taken care of. Please allow me to present my case. It's very strange and correctable that we have a hunger crisis while we have an agricultural sector that actually produces more than enough foods to feed the global population, and over a third of that food produced globally is wasted or lost on an annual basis. At the same time, 38% of the global population are either overweight or obese. This is not a food shortage situation. Looking at waste and loss alone, the redistribution of fresh and packaged food before it becomes inedible would provide immediate relief. Of course, this wouldn't be complete without recognizing some of the organizations working on ending hunger. And of course, we invite a gathering and sharing of ideas and resources amongst us all. We'd love to hear any thoughts you have on this goal or anything around it, anything that's been mentioned here. Our comment section is always open, DMs are always open, and our inbox is always open as well. As always, thank you to everyone that made this info session possible, and see you in the next one.